All right, we are back here on the program breaking down what happened yesterday to the Titans, an 11th loss on the season, 3-11 for the year. Just 2 chances left this weekend against the Texans, and then week 17 at Indianapolis for the Titans to get to 4 wins this year. I know some people probably rooting against that at this point because they sit in position to get the number 1 overall draft pick. Let's go to Ken. Ken, good evening. You're next up here on Titans Talk.
Beaver Reno.
How are you?
Good to see you back.
Thank you.
See you back on the first team. You're the best.
Appreciate that.
Just thinking about this whole Titan situation, I just really feel that they've got about 5 good football players on that whole staff. If you go into a business, you got to look at all the pieces of the puzzle. I don't know what coach in his right mind, either Bill Cowher, John Gruden, or Jimmy Johnson, or somebody like that, would even consider taking on a team like that. You got to have the pieces of the puzzle that can come together, or that you can think that you can assimilate a football team. This is the worst football team I've ever seen, period. And if they leave Marcus Mariota in there these next 2 games, they're going to get him killed. So I would put a stop to that if I was Amy. That's all I got. Thanks.
All right, we appreciate the call, Ken. Hey, it's a decision when you talk about the quarterback, but the quarterback, the reason it's a decision is he's the guy that's your selling point. When you go out in the market this offseason to try to attract the guy that you want to be the head coach, I think the selling point in Nashville is that you have a franchise quarterback. You have a guy that you believe in that will be an upper echelon quarterback in the National Football League if you can put some pieces around him. So that guy's already in place, and that's the toughest thing to do in the NFL is identify that guy and then let him lead you someplace. The Titans believe they've got that guy. So now they've got to protect him up front and equip him around on the perimeter and in the skill positions. And so that's the thing. You let a guy come in and you tell him that he's got the opportunity to sort of create his mark on this football team and equip it the way it wants. But you're right, it's not a very talented team right now, so it's hard to believe that is an overnight fix. But look, there's only so many jobs out there. And so the guys, I don't know about the guys you're talking about, the Cowhers and the Grudens. I don't know if any money can get them out of the booth or the studio at this point. But when you look at good candidates, there's only so many NFL head coaching jobs out there, and only so many will be open this year. And so when you stack the Titans up to maybe some others that will be open, an advantage Tennessee's going to have is the fact that you got number 8, the fact that you got Marcus Mariota in your pocket as your quarterback. Let's go to Mike. Mike, good evening. You're on Titans Talk.
How you doing this evening?
Doing well. How are you?
I got a comment. You got one right idea, but I've got a comment, okay?
Okay, fire away.
I remember 2 or 3 years ago when Jake Locker come there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jake Locker was here 2 or 3 years ago, right?
Sure.
They beat him to death, okay?
Yep.
Okay, now listen to me. To me, you know what good teams are quality teams that come above 500 and more every year? They protect the quarterback.
There's no question about that. You got to protect the quarterback.
Okay, but wait a minute. The Titans organization and franchise shouldn't know that by now?
Well, they know it. They just haven't been able to do it.
Well, they've had the chances over the last 3 or 4 years. They've been getting draft picks and everything, haven't they?
They have. And they've failed to get it done at this point.
They're still doing the same old stuff. Remember, Jake Locker was getting beat to death.
Yeah, there's no question about it, Mike, and I appreciate the call because that is the point. You've got to protect that quarterback, and they've had draft picks. Look, Taylor Lewan is a top 10 pick. Chance Warmack is a top 10 pick. Jeremiah Patasi was a third-round draft pick this year. They put in draft picks. They've gone out and signed free agents. Remember, Andy Levitre was supposed to be a huge coup a couple years ago. That didn't work out. Byron Bell has been okay this year, but probably not the guy they expected. Michael Orr certainly wasn't the guy they expected. They have missed time and time again in free agency. And up to this point, I don't know if you've had the foundational blocks amongst your draft picks that you were hoping for. When you miss like that, you're in trouble. And they've missed. And they're in trouble. That's the bottom line. Let's go to Eddie. Eddie, what's up?
How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great.
Before we get on to Martin Mariota, that Miss Universe last night was a total disaster. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, it was.
Let me tell you something. All these Titan gurus, hold on to your drawers. Give it a little chance. They do have the man behind taking the snaps. He is the franchise quarterback. This call you had a couple moments ago, Ken, I can go back because I'm a Florida transplant, and I remember the Buccaneers. That where if he's talking about he's never seen a team no worse, he ought to go back to the late 70s, early 80s for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There was nothing worse than them. But look what happened. Tony Dungy down there built that team, and defense makes great offense. Give the Titans a chance. This is a team that's in transition, and when they get the right players into place, I mean, you can have all these numbered top 10 draft picks and everything, but it's going to take a special coach to make an identity with that team. They've got a passer that's got an arm he can run, and they've got a defense that is young, and they are coming up. Even I watched it on Sunday, the NFL analysis, especially Jimmy Johnson and Terry Bradshaw and them. They talk about the Titans' defense. What are they, ranked 7th in the NFL right now?
Yeah.
Give them a little time. Next year, they're going to get them a coach. I believe the people that's running that show over there in Nashville, they probably got some deep wallets, and they're probably already in transition right now talking to some coaches. They're not going to come out and tell the public right off, yeah, we're talking to a new Bill Cowher or a Jimmy Johnson or John Gruden, et cetera, et cetera. They're talking to probably some high-profile coaches right now, and they're going to get a coach in there, and they're going to probably have a good draft this year. People just need to be a little patient and give the Titans a chance. I believe it's about 2 years away. This team is on the verge of being probably, and I'm going to say this very openly, we're probably looking at the birth of probably the next NFL super team, comparing them to like, New England, Carolina. I've watched football. I mean, I'm almost 65 years old, and I've watched football damn near all my life. And I see a team that right now that's in the early stages of being something good. So all I can say is that the Titan fans, just be patient. You know, we got a lot of armchair quarterbacks that sit in here, but we be patient. We're going to have a team that we can be proud of and say, you know what? They can have their yellow towels in Pittsburgh. They can have their Tom Brady's in New England. We got Martin Mariota, and we got the Titans.
Yeah, patience is. We appreciate the call. Sorry to cut you off there. I thought you were done. The patience is the key for anybody in this league. And let's be honest. A year ago, the worst division in football was the AFC South. And the Panthers were barely getting by. They were a below 500 team for almost all of last year. They sneak into the playoffs. They win a game at home, and they're done. And everybody thinks, all right, they were kind of a lucky team that backed their way into the playoffs. This year, they're 14-0. They're favored to win their last 2 games. They could be in the rarefied air of teams that can go unbeaten in the regular season. Who saw that coming? Who saw that coming a year ago? That's the difference. That is what can happen in the NFL. You see it every year. Redskins last year, last place in the NFC East, right now controlling their destiny in the NFC East. It can happen, but you gotta be good at your drafts. You gotta be good in free agency, and you've got to get the right coach. This is going to be a critical offseason for the Titans moving forward, no question. Let's take one more call in here. Let's go to David. David, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well.
I don't agree with everything that Carla said, but I just want to know. I just don't understand why people can't game plan for New England. They just do a lot of dink and dunks, and I just don't understand it. It looks like it's very easy to stop them with the way that they run their offense, and it just seems like nobody game plan really for them, like they're scared of them. That's all I have to say.
All right. right. Well, I appreciate it. I think it's more difficult than that, David. I think what the Patriots do a very good job of is they have a different plan virtually every week. It may look similar, but what they're trying to do is different almost every single week. Some weeks they run it a ton. Some weeks Brady throws it 50 times, and you don't really know what you're getting until you line up and actually go against them for a little bit in the first quarter, and you can feel out that game plan. And they've got a complete game breaker in Rob Gronkowski at the tight end position. That's probably the toughest matchup in football. You've got a guy like Brandon LaFell now who can stretch the field, and a bunch of other guys who can make plays. That's why they're difficult. They've got different guys that they can count on. They've got a couple tough matchups that they utilize, and they scheme really, really well to put guys in positions. And you're right, they're not all long passes. They're not low percentage passes. But a big part of that is Tom Brady doing a great job of identifying the defense. What are you taking away? You're taking away Rob Gronkowski? Well, then I'm going to hit you over there. You're taking away that deep route? Well, I'm going to hit you short up here. That's what Tom Brady does as well as anybody in the National Football League. That's why he's a 4-time Super Bowl champion. All right, we got to take a break. We will come back. We'll keep talking some Titans as the night moves along, but we've got a guest coming up, a former Miss USA contestant, and we're going to talk to her about the disaster in Vegas last night that was the Miss Universe competition. I still can't believe what I saw. So we'll talk about that coming up next.